New Yorkers are fleeing for Florida and Texas as mobility surges. We like to cover this. This is really interesting to me. People moving around because of things that have happened with COVID. People evacuating the cities.
Yeah.
So futuristic.
I was reading up on the weekend, U-Haul in New York.
That's right.
Was just completely flooded with people.
That's in this article here. And actually, they use U-Haul to figure out the actual mobility, how many people are moving. Right. And because U-Haul goes to one city and then someone else drives it back, you could check the U-Haul rates to know where the vehicles are needed versus where they're going more frequently.
Right.
Where these people are moving to. So let's say people were driving U-Hauls from New York to Florida. You have too many U-Hauls left in Florida. And the price to go from Florida to New York in a U-Haul will be 1/3 the price of the price to go from New York. You see what I'm saying?
Yep, yeah.
Based on availability. So actually use that. People are moving to places like Vermont, Idaho, Oregon, and South Carolina. And this is not just U-Haul. United Van Lines, their data's in here as well. There's a number of moving companies. The reverse was true for New York and New Jersey, which saw residents moving to Florida, Texas, and other Sun Belt states. Prior to this, relocations had actually reached an all-time low, but now, for obviously a variety of reasons, people are much more interested in moving. 1 in 5 Americans relocated or know someone who has during the pandemic. Do-it-yourself moves have increased considerably and consistently over the summer months. Here's the U-Haul piece as well. About a quarter of 2,000 real estate agents surveyed in late June said some home buyers had altered the location of where they were looking to purchase because of COVID. The number of people looking to move from New York City during the pandemic doubled from a year earlier. In the San Francisco Bay Area, 31%. So there's a nice little chart down here. New Jersey and New York hit the hardest, but everywhere there's big cities, essentially, because Illinois, Connecticut, California's on the list. They're losing people. A lot more outbound traffic than inbound. And then you look at the list of states that people are moving to, presumably get a little bit more space. The inbound states, Vermont leads the way, Idaho, Oregon, some that I mentioned, Arizona, Tennessee. Also, likely more affordable places to be as the workforce continues to change and the idea of commuting into a city. The appeal of being in the city changed substantially as the new restrictions sort of dictate how your life looks. Cities are always going to have some sort of special appeal, history. Eventually, special events will come back. But in the meantime, as people are trapped indoors doing these, their usual tasks and working their new online jobs, their remote jobs, I think people are starting to wonder, why am I here specifically? Why am I in this small little apartment paying this much money? I could go to Texas or Florida or whatever else it happens to be. And now we have some pretty decent evidence here that that's actually what's happening. This is the hypothetical move part I was talking about with U-Haul. To go from New York City to Vermont in a U-Haul is $773. To do the reverse trip is $236. Oh, wow. So the inflow, it's interesting. Vermont, by the way, a target place. I don't know if you've ever been to Vermont. What'd you do? You were going snowboarding?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. So it's not New York City. It's a lot of nature and a totally different pace to it. So it goes to show you, man, people reevaluating what's valuable to them.
Nature always wins.
Nature might win.
Yeah.
In the long run, nature might win. And a guy like Willie Doo, you might find him in Vermont. You never know.